What's happening, everyone? Sam, aka FIFA Brit from Gold Boys, here today, and wow, we had a pretty action-packed week of European soccer. The Champions League was full of goals. Europa League was kind of a letdown, at least for me personally, but wow, those Champions League games were absolutely fantastic. Am I nervous as an Arsenal fan? Yes. Was it also fun to watch and bet on? Yes, it was. That being said, it's time for the weekend and we're going to dive into the Soccer Saturday slate. But before we do that, I want to say a special thank you to the sponsor of this video, Sleeper Picks. Don't forget you can use code GOLDBOYS to get a deposit match of up to $500. Anyway, we've got some pretty interesting games going on this weekend. We're going to have to be careful. I know I say this in every video, but lineups are going to be incredibly important, especially for the teams that are playing in Europe. Arsenal, City, Liverpool, even though they got cooked in Europa League at home by Atalanta, Barca, Real Madrid, teams like that, we're going to have to be careful because they have pretty quick turnarounds, and it's just going to be something we have to be aware of. That being said, fortunately, the first game I want to talk about is Newcastle against Spurs in the Premier League. Neither of these teams are playing in Europe. Newcastle got knocked out of the Champions League, and Spurs are, well, shit. This is going to be a great game for shots. I think this is going to be a very, very attacking game. Neither team can defend very well. Fortunately, it is at St. James's Park, and Newcastle really only play well at home at this point. Their away form is awful. They can't get shots off. But at home, they can attack. They do have a lot of injury concerns, but that really only affects them in the back because Isak is healthy, and then honestly, at least one of Harvey Barnes or Anthony Gordon's going to be healthy. You know, they don't both play, but one of them is probably going to start at left wing, let's be honest. And then on the Spurs side, they've got loads of attackers. We know this. Son, Werner, Maddison, you know, all the main guys. As long as these guys are in, Spurs will be attacking, and they're not very good at defending. So this is going to be a game where I definitely cook up a shots lotto. It should be good for goals, but the value is not brilliant. So I'm probably just going to pivot and focus on first half shots. I'm most likely going to do this. I'm not going to lock it in now just because I really have no idea who's going to start at left wing and I can't be bothered to deal with a void, so I may as well just wait for lineups. But it's most likely going to be Isak, whoever plays at left wing, so either Harvey Barnes or Anthony Gordon, and then Son and Werner for 2 first half shots each. I'm hoping that's at least above 2,000. If it's lower than that, then it's probably not worth it because that is quite a few shots. But I think this game is going to be really back and forth. So I'm really excited about this one. I will do my best to share this on Twitter if I do lock in a play. But as always, all of my official plays will be in my Discord channel at Gold Boys. Again, if you haven't signed up for Gold Boys already, the link will be in the description. This is a fantastic time to join. Moving on to the next one, Manchester City against Luton. I could talk about how Manchester City are going to rotate their team and maybe it's possibly a game that they drop points on, but let's be honest, a rotated City team is still incredibly strong and they're going to beat Luton. And the lines reflect that. There's something like minus 1,600 to win the game. The last time they played them, De Bruyne had like 4 assists and Haaland had about 5 goals. It really wasn't that fair. But they do have a very important game against Real Madrid coming up on Wednesday next week. It is tied going back to the Etihad, so City do have the advantage. This is what happened last season, and City won 4-0 in the second leg. But I do think we're going to see a bit of rotation, and I would love it if Haaland and De Bruyne both sat on the bench or didn't play at all, because that means that Julian Alvarez is probably going to start at striker, and when those players are out, Julian Alvarez absolutely eats the first half shots. He had about 5 first half shots the last time both of those guys sat. So ladder his shots, ladder his first half shots. He'll probably score as well. I think that's going to be a really good value. But we have to wait for lineups. We can't lock that in now because I don't love it as much if Haaland and De Bruyne are playing. Moving on to the next one, the last Premier League game that I want to talk about on Saturday is Bournemouth against Man U. The other games are kind of shit. This one I do actually quite like. Mostly because Man U are still an absolute wagon for taking whoever they play against for as many shots as you possibly can. I'm not kidding. Man U, I think, have conceded the most amount of shots in the Premier League in 2024. That is ridiculous. For a team that's in the top 6 and is trying to challenge for a top 4 spot, the fact that they've conceded that amount of shots is ridiculous. I'm pretty sure they've conceded at least 20, if not 25 shots or more in a row. Like the past 4 or 5 games, if you look at their game logs, It's absolutely embarrassing. It's ridiculous. And Bournemouth have loads of guys that can shoot. Now, try and pick someone who's going to shoot. Almost impossible. It could be Solanke. It could be Semenyo. It could be Kluivert. It could be Tavernier. It could be Philip Billing if he's playing attacking mid. Any of them can shoot. And so, really, the best way to go about it is to just take their team shots. And this is actually a play that I've locked in ahead of time because I am confident about it. I am taking Bournemouth for 22 shots and Liverpool for 25 shots. Liverpool is a game on Sunday, so I will have a further breakdown for that when I do my Sunday video. But I'm playing this now because the Bournemouth game is on Saturday. I took this for 0.25 units. These are absolutely fantastic smash spots. Liverpool got absolutely obliterated by Atalanta, so I think they're going to come out swinging. They are now behind in the title race after dropping points to Man U in the league last weekend, so they have to win and they have to score goals. So that means lots of shots. 25 shots is very, very doable for them, and Bournemouth might not get 22 shots as often as Liverpool get 25 shots, but they're playing against Man U, and that is an absolute smash spot. So I took that for 0.25 units on FanDuel. That's all the Premier League action I want to talk about. The other games aren't really that fun or interesting in my opinion, so we're going to move right on to La Liga. One of the early kickoffs is Atletico Madrid against Girona. Again, beware of lineups. Atletico do have an away game at Dortmund's home stadium. They are winning by a goal, but playing in Germany is still difficult, so you may see some rotated lineups. I'm hoping we can get Memphis Depay starting up front if he's healthy, because his first half shots are an absolute wagon, especially if Griezmann and Morata aren't playing. Atletico also have a fantastic home record. We've discussed this in previous videos. They now have 20 wins in 23 home games. Girona have really gone off the boil. They're not pushing for a title, even though I think we all knew they were never going to win the title. But it's Atletico at home. Their money line is around -110, -120. Assuming the main guys start, you know, we're talking Griezmann, we're talking Morata, we're talking Lino on the wing, main guys like that. If they're all starting, I like the money line. If we see a rotated lineup, probably just going to focus on some first half shots or ignore the game entirely. Next game I want to talk about is Mallorca against Madrid. Again, you're sensing a common theme here, right? Madrid have an important game against City. It is Champions League. Mallorca are going to be pretty heartbroken. They just lost their best chance at winning a trophy in God knows how long and God knows how long until they have an opportunity to do it again. They lost to Bilbao in the final of the Copa del Rey. Yes, playing at Mallorca is difficult, but with a rotated Madrid lineup, we should see some value. I'm assuming that Vinny is going to get rested. I think we're all probably familiar at this point with the kind of treatment he gets from certain fans in La Liga, but Mallorca is particularly bad. For some reason, there's like a ridiculous grudge, even by La Liga standards, between those fans and Vinny. So if I'm Real Madrid, I'm probably just going to let him chill on the bench, get him maybe a couple of minutes just to get a bit of fitness in, but I'm assuming they're going to save him for the important game against City, and I'm hoping we'll see some guys like Brahim Diaz, maybe Rodrigo still gets some time, maybe Giselo gets a start up front. Any of those guys, we should see a little bit of value, and hopefully we can get some nice first half shots. Cadiz against Barcelona. Again, common theme. Barcelona playing the Champions League, but Cadiz are pretty shit. Barcelona should win this game, even though they are playing away. Some guys to focus on for first half shots. Rafinha is an absolute wagon, coming off a fantastic Champions League performance. His 3 first half shots, anywhere above plus 250 or plus 300, when he's in the mood, he will rip from absolutely anywhere. And if you want to pivot to someone else, then the young 16-year-old winger, Lamine Yamal, is a pretty good bet as well. Moving into the Bundesliga, Bayern do play against Cologne. I'm not really going to touch this game. I'm talking about it because Bayern do play Arsenal later in the week for Champions League. But really, this league is over. Leverkusen can clinch it with a win this weekend, so I would just not touch Bayern in the league whatsoever. Just wait for Champions League when they play Arsenal. It's really all they have left to bet on. It's their best chance for trophy this season, and the value is going to be good because Arsenal are a good team. And I'm not just saying that as a fan of them, I'm saying that because it's true. So there will be value on Bayern props on Wednesday. So just wait, don't touch them in the league, wait for the Champions League game, and we can cover that in a different video. In Serie A, we have a pretty good game. Torino against Juventus. This is a proper derby, and Juventus haven't lost this matchup in ages. I don't think they've lost to Torino since 2015, and the money line is plus money. It's around plus 115. It's because they're playing away from home, so Juventus are just kind of weird on the road sometimes. They usually take like a 1 or 2-0 lead and then concede a stupid last-minute equalizer and throw away the win. So the money line's probably pretty good value, but you're probably safer taking their double chance and using that as a parlay piece elsewhere. Last game we're going to talk about is the MLS. And if you guys probably know me by now, then you know that I love LA Galaxy and I love taking both teams to score over 2.5. Because the Galaxy love to score and they don't really love to defend. Last season, they were an absolute wagon. They finished last season with something like 9 games straight of hitting both teams to score over 2.5. Now, last season, that's mostly because they were able to find 1 goal and they would let their opponents score 2 or 3. This season, it's kind of the other way around. They're actually a pretty good offensive side. You can usually bank on them to get 2 goals, but they will still probably end up conceding. Regardless of how they get there, both teams to score over 2.5 is good, and they play Vancouver. Vancouver are a pretty good team. I'm 90% sure that this is the top team and the second top team in the Western Conference in the MLS. So it's going to be a pretty good battle. I'm expecting them both to go at it, and both teams to score over 2.5 is just under minus 140. I believe you can get it for around minus 135, and I would play it all the way to minus 140. I'm going to wait for lineups before I lock that in officially, just because, again, I want to make sure the main guys are starting. For Vancouver, the main guys are gold and white, and for LA Galaxy, we're looking for Ricky Puig, we're looking for Jovic, and we're looking for Paintsel. Maybe Gabriel Peck on the left wing, but we don't need him. You could get a guy like Delgado in the center mid. You could get Diego Fagundes, who's really good at free kicks. That left wing spot, not as important, but we like Paintsel, we like Puig, we like Jovic. Those guys are starting, both teams to score over 2.5. Absolutely love it. Again, I will try and get some plays posted to my Twitter, which is at FIFABrit if you aren't following me already. We had an absolutely fantastic week cashing first half builders. I believe we cashed all but one of them on Europa League because Di Maria didn't shoot in the first half and then scored about 10 minutes into the second half. So, that's just my luck. So yeah, follow me on Twitter, but as always, all official plays will be locked into my Discord channel in Goal Boys. Another personal plug. Follow me on Twitter. Yeah, we've already covered that, but I've launched a new podcast called The Final Third, sponsored by the Goal Boys Network. The link to that will be in the description below. We just put out our first episode, co-hosted by one of my good colleagues, Mr. Brad Thomas, and Betting the Pitch. Both guys in Goal Boys, both very smart, knowledgeable guys. Would definitely recommend. Go listen on Apple, go listen on Spotify, or wherever you listen to your playlists. And if you're feeling generous, drop us a 5-star review as well. As always, if you do think you have a gambling problem, don't forget to call the number 1-800-GAMBLER. And without further ado, have a fantastic weekend. We're going to kill the soccer slate on Saturday. Don't forget to tune in when we have another video covering the Sunday slate as well. And yeah, best of luck with all your bets. Have a great weekend, and I'll catch you in the next one.
Hey guys, thank you for watching. Guess what? Friends don't let friends watch videos without smashing the like button. So be a friend and smash the like button and ring the bell. It'll notify you when we go live. Also, if you could, press that subscribe button. More subscribers, the more bets we can get out to all of you guys. And drop your favorite bet in the comments.